Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. It's been a good long while. This, as you all know, is a series where I'm trying to build a Amazon Web Service website to host a podcast that my friend and I recorded 2 years ago at this point. Um, and in service of that, I've been trying to actually edit down all the episodes lately. So I kind of put this on the back burner. Um, but I figured, hey, time to switch it up. Get a little tired of all that. So I'm back. Couple of caveats to throw out there. The whole point of this was for me to build it from scratch without really knowing anything and demonstrate just kind of what that process looks like of learning a new technology and uh, get all the full truth out there, not the polished, edited, cut down version. Because I always know that makes me feel kind of bad when somebody just from scratch just does it all right there, just boop done, and they know everything, and then as a new person, you might be like, how did you know all that? Um, so I don't know anything. But the caveat to add here is that at my job, my full time job, we've actually started moving our previously desktop application to be a website. So, as course of my work over the past couple months, I've actually become exposed to some more front end focused technologies, and my knowledge is a little bit more advanced than it would have been. But the good side is we don't do anything with AWS, Amazon Web Services, and we don't do any Python, which is kind of what the main Lambda function, I guess, is written in Python. So in that respect, this is still a learning experience, and I'm also going to have to relearn again where I was last last time because it's been a while. As you see, I got some headphones on today. Just gonna play a little bit of music for myself in the background. I'm hoping that will help me speak up a little bit and maintain a good volume. So if I can't hear myself, then how could you hear me? So, without further ado, let's dive back in to where we were last time. So, this is where we left off, where we had essentially the bones of a Lambda function going on here with a few extra files that we're going to use eventually. But the thing I was running into here, if I recall correctly, is the fact that I don't really know how Amazon sets up an instance like this, and I don't know how they, you know, handle multi-threaded access across distributed servers and all this other kind of stuff. I don't want to get to a place where data is different for different people who call this. So we have a database thing that got set up, and I don't really remember. I've been paying for all this stuff too for months, and we need to get this working. So, but I think we're focused on the web page. That's where we want to get that working, and that was where I was at last time. It'd be nice to get it hooked up into the API gateway as well. Maybe that's where we start today, is to really try to hook this into the I own the domain, right, for themes.from-central.com. So I'm hoping I can edit that in here. Okay. So this seems like this is once we've actually hit the gateway, and where does it route the request from there? But I really, custom domain names. Well, all right. I go on regional, that seems fine. Uh, hmm, get a free certificate. That's nice. Uh, sure. No idea. Amazon certificate manager must approve the owner control all the domain names that you specify in your request. Choose to prove your ownership with either domain name system validation or with email address. Generally recommend using DNS or email. If you use Amazon Route 53 to manage your public notifications, you can update your records through ACM directly. That seems like what I want to do because I did get the domain name through Route 53. So let's try that. Encryption algorithms. We'll use RSA, sure, why not? Don't really need a tag. I don't think we're going to have a lot of these to manage. Famous last words. Okay. There's a lot of fun things up here. Let's look at this. Pending validation. Oh shit, whoops. There's two R's in there. Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Shoot. Oh man. What a typo. All right. Oh, can we delete this? Okay, good. Okay. Whew. Try that again. This time. Scenes from Central with one R. Great. And all that the same. Now request. Hey. Um, what does this mean? It's pending. Can issue a secretary answer and match river that you own or control that you can choose to prove your name with email about it. But it's only about like just okay. Well, can I create the record? So I have no idea if that actually did anything or not. But there it is. Thesefromcentral.com. Hopefully that is enough then for me to then put. Hey. Hey, there we go. Thesefromcentral.com. Okay. Cool. So did this become validated now, or is this like, hey, look at that? I'm hoping that this is now just gonna work. So if I go to scenesfromcentral.com, hopefully then this works. Like, if I just go of course, it's not just we get admin console as well. Wouldn't be too surprised if Amazon's still setting it up, or if also there's other things getting involved here. That I still have to set up. But hey, that's nice to see that that's at least in there. See if I can get back to that place where I tried to call it. Nope. How did I get signed out of the... What? Oh man, it's still this. Well, see if this opens up at all. Nope. So it seems like trying to put the name on this didn't quite. Didn't quite work somehow. Oh, maybe because I haven't mapped this anywhere? Aha! Aha! So does this now? God damn it. Huh. Okay. So that's still not quite how I want it. But I did at least set up the... Did I at least set up the... custom domain name this way? Okay. So maybe... Well, we could try it again. See what happens. Hmm. So that's the other thing is perhaps the DNS servers have to all get updated still. So we might not be able to access it the fun way, at least for a little while those get propagated out. Bummer. uh, but, right, this will still, nope. Interesting. So it still doesn't like when I invoke it directly. Because I get the message not found, which if I go back to what this does, well, this is clearly not doing what I... Right, that's the Lambda function, okay. Don't know what the environmental variables are, but I don't think I need those. I think this was just for reference also to put into the index HTML. Okay. Doesn't seem like I've actually made any calls to this. So it hasn't been reaching here. The configuration tab, choose the function URL tab in the left menu. Configuration, function URL. Aha. This particular one, I think, would be fine with buffered. So this is quickly becoming quite a mess. Why doesn't this have authorization set up? So do I have to, oh, do I have to click this to actually, oh, so it's auto deployed. Okay, so that's fine. Okay. So hopefully that's good now. Okay, so this is integrated with Lambda. So it knows that it's supposed to call. I don't think I want to modify any of the data that comes through. So what? Do I have to? Fuck if I know if that did anything actually, but you know, whatever. We can yeah. Well, let's just get the code working, shall we? And we can see if DNS and all that stuff comes along at some point in the future and gets this all set up, because I know that that has to propagate through the internet and everything and whatever. Um, okay. So as far as this goes, I don't like the structure that much, mostly because of the if else. If you ask for a get, then I want to be able to send that and respond to you with the payload. But we've kind of clumped it all together, I think, because I was a little hesitant to really do much with this. So we'll do one that's called send error response. There we go. And yeah, I guess we can pass in the operation. Where we can basically say what the error response is. That's code of 400. Body will be we'll do that. And then headers. Talk about content type. And this will be JSON. So there we go. So that's our error response. And now with this, we can do return there we go. And we should probably rename this actually. Send is not the right verb. We're not sending it with this method. This method just creates the error response. So we'll call that create error response. And that way it's a little bit more obvious what that is doing. And as opposed to this, then we can get rid of all of the conditionals and just say, okay, so this is going to be a 200. Say send the resource, and it's text HTML. Yeah. Call it the response body. That way it's a little bit better named, more obvious what it is. Yeah, and it's Python. Not they don't get as into things like having types. I'm primarily a Java programmer and now part-time TypeScript programmer. So types are more a part of my life than Python enforces. But oh well. So when we respond now, we'll just send along the payload. And again, with the error one, why don't we call this create HTML response. Create HTML response, and then I'll call this HTML response. So there you go. Does this actually do anything? Yeah. Well, let's try this test stuff. We'll continue here a test. See if we can find something that's just a pretty basic get operation. But now this is interesting. So if we want the proxy, is this what they send? Holy cow. Okay, so the HTTP method we're gonna call it get. We're gonna ignore all the rest of this. That's all this really does. So we can send along all the rest of this and it won't matter. Oh, hang on. We need to give it a name. Oh, the service. There. Save. Looks like it gave back the web page. which is cool. I have no idea how it determines if that was a successful test or not. I don't think I put any assertions. So I just sent that in, and was it a test to see if the 200 response came back, or like what was the success? And why is there another one in here? What's going on? Like those are headers, multi-value headers, request context. So the request context, whoops, wasn't quite right, but whatever. So this is what got sent in. I don't know again how it determined that the response that came back was the right one. But I guess maybe it just wanted some kind of a response, and it got one. So there you go. So there was some kind of assume I could deploy these then. So the thing I'll have to set up at this point now is gonna be where does this send stuff? And part of this is it's gonna have to stream in the file data. Okay. Well, we're not quite done. So we of course need another label, because what I forgot to do was put in a field to set the episode number. Quick little number input. Episode index, great. And type is number. I guess we'll do a couple of line breaks because that's our pattern. So up here, of course, then we'll have to do so index that value, I guess. Then we'll send that along. So there's that all set up in there. If we run the test, seems fine. Deploy that. So again, I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, that's kind of strange to me, is that there's what these layers are. Hmm. Don't think I need any of that. But the whole at one point there was a time I could just straight up say, here is my dedicated endpoint for your function. Okay. When your function URL is configured, you can use it to invoke your function through a browser, curl, Postman, or any HTTP client. When you configure a function URL from the main function page, Lambda assigns function to the latest and published version of your function. You cannot assign a function to any other function version, but you can assign a function URL to any function alias for your function. You can choose between IAM authorization or you should play your score. Okay, great. So it's like, do we have to? See if this does anything. Let's see if that. Oops. I briefly add anybody, let's see if that does anything. All right, fair enough. Still forbidden, huh? Because of this? It's like, well, I'm signed in. You'd have thought that would be a valid. This is one of those things that's going to become a headache. I can already tell. It's already going to be. Uh, Try that. Hmm. Never mind. Don't know what the hell that means. Um, is this? So this is giving permissions to the API gateway, which should be good? Question mark. Hmm. So I wonder. Trying to see if there's someplace I need to add in the IAM authentication or something. I don't really know how any of that works, but I don't think that's involved. And yeah, again, I have no idea if this is being propagated or not. In both cases, it doesn't seem to want to pass that through, but again, just more than likely, scenes from central.com. So just created the certificate today. Won't do anything. All right. So that's kind of a dead end for now. We'll wait and see how that goes in the next video. But for now, then I guess I can... I got scared for a second there. It was like, no applications. It's like, wait, what? Okay. So this serves up that page. What we're going to need to do now is set up a second endpoint in the API gateway, I think, where we can have this actually get posted. Instead of just logging it to the browser console. So let's walk through that whole mess by adding another function. The function name, post, new episode. Console editor only supports Node.js, Python, and Ruby. Oh, the console editor. So I could write in Java on my own and like, okay. Well, yeah, we'll do Python. I think we want this. I am. This will just say that it's either a yes or no, so it doesn't really matter. See if this actually performs. Great. Okay. Let's add a trigger. So that one works. Okay, so this should be authorized that way. Great. Deployed. So this should be now involved. Also, some of my recent learnings about front end stuff has taught me that my naming conventions here are really bad. They're not restful at all. Apologies to the folks out there. Homemade thing, not following any good standards. You shouldn't be using camel case like this. Should be dashed. Should be all lowercase. Should be using nouns. So get admin console put. Those are verbs. Not quite right. But with this whole playing into the lambda functions, yeah, this is a lambda function, so I kind of want it to be a verb because functions should be verbs. But then the way it automatically puts that in as the name of the endpoint, yeah, becomes a little not great, but oh well. So I want to see if this now errors out. Okay. So I'm guessing it's because it's just trying to directly invoke this without wrapping it with any kind of the authorization stuff it expects, and that's why it's forbidden now. So hopefully that makes this, well, at the very least it's secure, right? If I can't get in while I'm signed in, then bad folks shouldn't be able to get in either. Right? Uh, we'll figure out how to get it available eventually. But apologies. Point being, there should conceivably be now a. Oh, if I don't have a. This might get complicated because I don't know how the authentication schema actually works for this. If I can in the if I can in the HTML file just send back a request to this endpoint, will the authentication details come with it? I don't know. I have no idea if that will happen. Shoot. Because that would suck if this would have been so much easier if I had just built a Spring Boot application. Let me tell you what. At least easier for me. I'm sure there's people out there for whom this is so completely easy, and but that's the point. That's the excuse me. Oh, I'm using a older version of Python or newer? Probably newer, right? Dot 12. I assume it's meant to be dot 12, not dot 1.2, whatever. Anyway, because the idea would be I'd write a call back to the post episode API. And this is where I'm going to figure out how does the file data actually get up to the server? Because does that input just get the name of the file? And like, how do I then pull it off the user's file system and stream it over to the server endpoint? This time we do some research. All right. JavaScript. Send API call. This seems like my situation. Fetch, huh? It's gonna be some asynchronous kind of stuff. So you pass in where you want it to go, and then all right, so this is where we're gonna have to probably do this. Shit. Oh man, this immediately got so much more complicated because we're gonna have to pass along as path parameters the metadata. Because the way I would normally do this would be using a multi-part form, but I know there become issues sometimes with that. I'm used to working in a WebLogic environment where that comes along with a Jersey server, the ability to handle multi-part inputs. I have absolutely no idea if AWS will be able to handle that. Well, let's actually, before we get too doom and gloom, upload audio file via AWS. Misspelled that, whatever. The layout function might consider upload files right from the browsing unit. All right. Assigned URL. Maybe this is what I want. So my website's not going to be busy, and that's where this comes in, where it's like I don't need all this huge scalability stuff. It's just I thought maybe this would be easy. S3 uploader, huh? Request the upload URL. I think S3, maybe that is the thing that I set up last time. I don't recall. A key signature and token in the query parameters authorizing the transfer without the transfer failed. That is kind of what I want. UID 4 AWS. And then you can directly create an S3 instance. Now that's interesting. Then get upload URL. And so then this, oh, they're doing a view app. All right, so that's a little whatever, but hmm. So this seems interesting. I have to double check what my actual, what was the long-term storage thing that I set up last time? uh, was it S3? Yeah, this is a little. Wish that I think they were like, here's all the things you actually have up and running. uh, hmm. Let's see if it shows up in my billing statement. Don't really need the door, thanks though. Um, what did I get billed for last month? Route 53. That's just the. Somehow there were 21,013 queries. Interesting. 40 cents for the first billion queries and 21,000 queries, so they charged me a penny. Cool. CloudWatch, what the hell are you? That's logs. Okay, cool. So because I'm not actually using any of the storage stuff I set up, they're not billing me for it, so I don't see it. Maybe it was S3. It doesn't seem like there's anything actually. Get started. I don't know. I continue on the file. I made it. Grab the file. Yeah, bucket, upload the object to the bucket, objects in the bucket, you can open it, download it, move it, and you only need the object or a bucket, clean up resources you can use. Yeah, is this long-term storage though, or is this? Well, let's dig through this and see if anything jumps out at me. Um, So far, nothing jumps out. Do 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 do. Not seeing anything. Hmm. I do want to check out the IAM thing just to make sure I actually know what the hell that's doing. Um, well, nothing jumps out. Maybe it was S3. I don't know. I thought I set something up last time. I had to go back and watch the video. Okay, well, back to Lambda then. So I think I'm abusing this. I'm gonna be honest. I think why didn't it show my why doesn't it actually show my deployments here? Oh, okay. Sorry, what? How did I Okay, weird. And that's a little bit troubling that these are relegated to being specifically for this server. Would have liked to have them be global. Uh, I might need to just to make sure that that's on there. I don't know. Uh, don't know if that does anything or not. Again, waiting to see if this becomes available more broadly. Until it is, it's hard to test if I can't call it quite right. Uh, I might be doing too much here. It's part of it. Um, well, it's been an hour. I feel like made some progress. At least got my domain name hooked in there, so that's fun. We'll see if I don't know. I take a bit of a break here and try again next time. Anyway, uh, not quite as productive as I was hoping, and Amazon is once again proving to be certainly a learning curve. Uh, yeah, I'm a bit out of my element here, but we'll get there. That's part of the process. So, till next time.